Welcome to Optimize My Life, the ultimate radio show where we unlock the secrets to living our best lives. Now, before we dive into this exciting journey of self-improvement and empowerment.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bob Oakley, and I'm your host today on our talk radio show, where we talk about family time and time that we work with intergenerational family arrangements and getting together and talking about things that we're doing and values that we talk about for our families and so forth. So I just want to thank you all for coming on, listening. I have a couple of guests that may be coming on, and but we'll add them when they come on. But I'm going to talk a little bit about a couple of administrative things that we do. The Hope Collection is a 501c3. That means that it's registered by the federal government to be a not-for-profit corporation, and we've been around for probably between 15 and 20 years. And it was started originally by a very good friend of mine, excuse me, Dr. Joel Griffin. He was a doctor in mathematics, and he was a very intelligent man. And him and his wife, Artis, decided to start up the Hope Collection. Joel called a bunch of us people that he knew together for a meeting in upstate New York on up in Corning, New York, near the lake, and we talked about the Hope Collection, and we talked about setting up a radio show. And Joe he decided he wanted to name it the Hope Talk Radio Show. Originally, it was called the Hope Foundation, but then when we added the radio show, we changed it to the Hope Talk Radio Show, and it's a blog talk radio show that is now being transmitted to over 90 countries around the world. All kinds of different countries have access to the Hope Talk Radio Show, either through the internet or through the blog arrangement. So I welcome you, and if you we work with all kinds of people. We don't exclude anyone, by the way. Everyone is welcome. If you're from Harvard or Yale or just got out of jail, we accept you. We accept you into our family, and you can be involved in the program as anytime you want. So I just welcome you all. And as I said, there are many projects that we have and programs that we have through the Hope Collection that we make available to people, to anybody that wants to use them. There's no charge for that. It's free, Free. Oh man, you don't hear that too often, that something is free, but it is. So anyway, we have. The reason we call it the Hope Collection is because it's a collection of different programs and different organizations that we're working with. Some of them are organizations in the government, either the federal, state, or local level. Some of them are private industry that we're working with, different companies that we work with. Some of them are charitable organizations like Easter Seals and New York City Relief and different ones like that. So I'm very, very happy to be here with you today to talk about the Hope Collection and talk about what we call working with the family unit. And that is a very interesting topic for me because I have a very large family. I have 11 children right now, and I think it's 37 now, grandchildren and great-grandchildren. So we're growing. My older brother, who's no longer with us, he used to call me Abraham because my family was expanding so fast. And but anyway, I'm happy to be with you all, and I see we have another guest on here with me. Two guests now. My friend Larry from New Jersey. Hi, Larry. How you doing today?
Hey, Bob. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good morning, Bob. I'm doing fine, thank you.
Great to hear from you, Larry. And my friend Gary. Is that Gary on the line?
Yep. That's me, Bob.
How you doing, Gary?
God bless you. No, it warmed up. It was 43 out at 6 o'clock this morning. It was a little chilly.
That it is.
You know, the cold weather's coming in, and us older folks, we have it impacts us. And you know, I have some of the same feelings that you have about the cold weather. I don't like the cold weather. I like it when it's warm. Anyway, it's good to hear from you, Gary. We're meeting later on today with Rick Reese, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, I think it's around 6 o'clock, isn't it? 6 or 7, I can't remember.
Yeah, I set up my computer here.
Yeah, okay. All right. So anyway, Larry, how's everybody in the family doing today?
Well, we're doing pretty good, hanging in there, you know. But
yeah. You said you were working on house cleaning this morning.
Yeah, I got most of it done, but I got a few more jobs to do. But my wife says,
yeah,
go ahead, you can go on the show.
Yeah. Give you a break, right?
Yeah, give me a little bit of a break. We're getting there.
Yeah, we do that all the time too. My wife and I, we do it together. She is so fast, and I'm not so fast. But anyway, we get it done.
Yep.
So, you doing much with the Elks lately?
Yeah, actually, we had a meeting last night. We're doing a lot of stuff.
Oh, I missed it. I missed it.
Yeah, you have to come to the meeting.
You know, talk a little bit about the Elks to our listeners. What kinds of things the Elks do?
Well, what the Elks do, they help out veterans, and they also help out special children. Of course, my son Lawrence was the poster child. Oh man, when he was, I think it was like maybe 7 or 8 years old when he was being the poster child, and actually he was the alternate poster child. And he was the alternate poster child at one time, and he kept getting invited to all these things, So what happened was we found out that the guy who was supposed to be in charge wasn't notifying the regular poster child. So Lawrence, he was the alternate, so he kept going through all these things. So finally I says, well, listen, I says, I'll sponsor the child. He wasn't even from my district, but I says, I'd sponsor him. So I went up there. I talked to the family. I says, said we've been waiting, but nobody ever called us. I said, well, now, I says, I'm going to take you there, and, you're going to go to all these events. They said, well, thank you so much. And the child, he was a very sweet child, very nice boy. And then he started going, so he really enjoyed it. He had a good time.
You've done so much with your son as a special child, and I'm really proud of all the things that you and your wife have done. He's involved in so many things. Like he's involved in the Elks, and he's involved in the Knights of Columbus, I know, and other things that you have taught him over the years to be involved in. And that's one of the things that are very important in our relationships with our children and our spouses, is to work together on things like that. And so thank you, Larry, for all you do to all the people you're working with. And I know you're working a lot with the veterans, and you're working a lot with other organizations as well. And so God bless you, my friend, and your family. I want to talk to Larry a little bit while he's on the line with us. I mean Gary. How you doing, Gary?
I'm hanging in there. I tell you, like I said, I had to go to LabCorp this morning, and I tell you, I think there had to be about 100 people waiting online.
Wow.
I never seen many people. Yeah, I went at 7 o'clock this morning. I figured nobody would be there. But I should have went at 5 o'clock tonight. It would have been better off. But, I mean, I honestly think they need to kind of make extensions to these places, you know. There's too many people, Bob. But, I wanted to ask a quick question. A friend of mine belongs to the Elks with the Knights here in Hackettstown. Larry, is that the same one you're talking about?
The one in Hackettstown?
Larry.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Larry. You answer that question.
Yeah, I can answer that question. I belong to the Springfield Elks, but because I live out here, my son is now a member of the Hackettstown Elks. And actually, we went to the meeting last night. We were at the meeting they had last night.
Okay.
Because they meet on Wednesdays, the second and the fourth Wednesdays.
No, my friend Rocco from church goes there, and he lives here off Rockport Road, and he always tells me to come all the time, but I didn't think they had anything to do with veterans.
Oh yes, they help out veterans and special children, and my son, I was on a special children's committee, and but I belong to Springfield because I joined when I was living in Berkeley Heights. I just got out of the service, and I was living in Berkeley Heights. And actually, Berkeley Heights had a lodge, but my father and my uncle were charter members of Springfield, so I wanted to join Springfield. So I, said to the members of the Berkeley Heights Lodge, which now they closed it up, and now they moved to Sterling. But anyhow, they said, "Oh yeah, you could join, the Springfield Lodge. There's no problem with that." So, and actually, I've been a member there. I think it's 52 years or 54 years. Excuse me. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, because I joined the American Legion 164 in Hackettstown, and I
remember that one too.
Here's the gig. I mean, it's literally turned into a tavern in the evening. I mean, that's it. And I don't see much activity for veterans at all. They're, I don't know if it's just that post or if that's just the way the American Legion is headed down the road. I don't know.
Well, you know what? I'm pretty sure the American Legion helps out. A lot of times what happens is, there's bars, in most Elks lodges. So, I used to go down there after work and stuff like that, I had a couple of drinks, not a lot, maybe 2 or 3.
No, I know.
And then I go home. But I know one it was funny because one time I went down there and I forget what I drank too much, So I was coming home and the guy pulled me over and he says,
"Ow!"
I says,
"Ow!"
But I said, "Where you come from?" I come from the Elks Lodge. He goes, "Oh, okay." So he says to me, he goes, how much you had to drink? I said, "Well, I forget what it was, maybe 6 or 7 beers or whatever, and it was over the limit." So he says, "Well, listen," he said, "I want you to stay here." He says, "Can you get somebody to come by and drive you home?" I said, "Well, I can call my brother-in-law." So my brother-in-law, and actually I was living in the half a house with my brother-in-law and his wife, and I was living with my mother at the time. So anyhow, he came by, and he picked me up, and the cop says, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I pulled you over." I says, "No," I said, "I had no problem with that." You know what I mean? I said, "I'm just glad you didn't give me a ticket." You know what I mean? Because you're going to give me a ticket.
I agree. Yeah. Yeah, I run into that same problem. Hey, did you know Charlie Bell?
Charlie Bell?
Yeah.
No.
He did about 3 tours in Nam.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what. Well, my brother-in-law, he went to Vietnam, and when he went to Vietnam, I said, well, listen, I was stationed at Bentwaters in England. I said, well,
okay.
I was in the Air Force. I said, well, let me take his place, you know.
Oh.
So I asked, if I could do it, and they says if he was my brother or half brother, they would do it, but brother-in-laws they wouldn't do it. And,
Right.
And right now, my brother-in-law, he has got all kinds of freaking problems because he was right in the middle of it.
I know.
He's got all kinds of sicknesses and stuff, but I mean, he's still getting around, but I mean, he's in bad shape, you know.
I know a lot of them are.
Yeah, I mean, he was exposed to everything, you know, Agent Orange, all that other stuff, you know. I mean,
I know.
But Gary Larry also belongs to Gary Larry also belongs to a veterans group that has a breakfast meeting every week, right, Larry?
Oh yeah. Actually, we go down to every Tuesday morning. The veterans, we go down to. I'm trying to think of the name of the place. It's the right down off of Route. Right, yeah, it's the. No, I don't think it's the. Yeah, I know it's the VFW, but it's right off of Route 31. You go down into Hampton. It's right in Hampton.
Oh, you're talking about Glenn Gardner?
Yeah, Glenn Gardner. Yep.
Yeah, Diane is always down there with Rolling Thunder all the time.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, actually, she serves the breakfasts.
Diane serves the breakfast?
Yep. Yeah, she's a great cook too. Well, she doesn't cook it. She doesn't cook it, but she serves it. But I tell you
I know Diane a long time. Oh my God, that's a small world.
Yeah.
Did you know George? Did you know George?
Yes. He was
a
great
me too.
Guy.
I know.
I know. He was a great guy.
I know.
I mean, he died too young.
I know. He died the same as my father. The same thing. Diane and I had many conversations on this. Yeah.
Yep.
And we're good friends even till today. I mean, you know. And she worked hard for, you know. For Rolling Thunder. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep. And she's still doing it today. I give her a lot of credit.
I give her a lot of credit. I mean, do you see what she posts up? I mean, the things that she does. I mean, she's phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah, I'm surprised she never told you that you should stop down on a Tuesday morning. You know what I mean?
I didn't know. I didn't know. I did Charlie Bell goes on Tuesday morning with his brother.
Yep. Yeah.
He's got a twin brother.
Yep. Actually, there's a guy. He lives. He lives on the same street I do, right? And he's like a block away from me. And
Larry, I wonder if I know you from outside.
Could be. Yeah. Well, actually, you know what I do? I normally do the cleaning down there. You know.
Okay.
Yeah, I always do the mopping and the cleaning in there because like I said, I was like my plane was always when I was in the Air Force. I was a crew chief on the F4, and the guy goes, "Man, you got your plane all shined up and everything, you know." I'm very like cleanliness, you know what I mean?
I know.
Yeah.
You know, the guys from the Air Force.
They say cleanliness is close to godliness, so I'm trying to get closer to God.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
True. Hey, Larry, is it true in the Air Force you guys used to wipe the wings down with lemon oil?
I never did that. No. It might have been true. I don't know, but yeah. I mean, something like that. I guess might make it fly a little bit better. I don't know, but I
learned it. Yeah, I learned it from guys back in the 70s on that. They were using that. Yeah. I don't know what it was for. I guess it was for the aerodynamics. I don't know.
Could have been. You know.
I don't know.
Well, I was a crew chief on the F-4 Phantom.
Yeah.
And it was funny because like we had. I'm going to tell you something. You know, this is secret stuff, but it's not secret anymore. But anyhow,
all right.
What happens is we had like 42 planes in 2 squadrons.
Okay.
And we always had 6 planes from each squadron uploaded with a nuclear bomb, ready to go.
Wow.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And the planes were right maybe about, you know, at the end of the runway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the only problem is you're sleeping in a bed and you hear like, you know, as the planes taxi up and you're half asleep, right? And they take off at 5, 6, and 7 a.m. So and then when they take off, they hit afterburner, and the bed starts going ba-boom, 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 and it wakes you up. So, you know, but I mean, it was a little inconvenience, but it was no big deal.
Gary, I'm going to interrupt for a minute.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Bob.
I want to introduce another friend of mine that just came on. He's one of my super friends. That's Brad Dorsey, country boy from in the Atlanta, Georgia area. Hi, country. How you doing today?
Hey, good afternoon, gentlemen. I was enjoying the conversation. It doesn't matter what people are talking about nowadays. Being up here in the country, I've learned there's a big difference between hearing and listening. So as I'm listening, my empathy button goes wide open. But while you was talking there, I was thinking now, does this guy believe in luck or does he believe in good faith? Then I heard you say 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Boy, when people start talking like that, I start to think about my God. 24/7, 365 days a year. He never sleeps and he never slumbers. Thank God he made you in his own image. Yes, sir. And then I was talking about next door, the man next door. I lived next door to my neighbor for years, and they call me the spiritual ninja. And here it is 40 years later, and he still don't know my name. He calls me a child of God. And I mean, when he does that, I turn my first somersault. But the last one, Oak Man, my biggest saying, I got it written on my composition book. Matter of fact, it's a little sticky on the refrigerator now. My sister said, what's that you put on the refrigerator? I said, a little sticky just to remind me. If you want to write it down, I don't believe in good luck. I believe in faith. But when Ron Clayton was telling me that he went to Canada the week, him and Linda, and then when he came back, a friend of a friend wanted to introduce him to their friend, and come to find out, the friend of a friend of a friend lives right next door, across the yard. So I wrote it down in big giant letters. Coincidence. God's way of remaining anonymous. Back to you, Oak Man.
Thank you, country. Yeah, country and I have been friends for quite a while, and country is a very successful businessman down in Georgia and other places around the world. And so I appreciate you coming on, country, and I know you're very busy. But it's just a pleasure to talk with you guys and to talk about the experiences that you've had in your lives and how that can fit in with our radio show, the radio show about the family unit. And I think I mentioned earlier that I have a very large family, and my family is spreading around the world now. I have my oldest grandson is him and his wife and their son live in Germany, and I have the family in Brazil, and I have family in Colombia, South America, and in other places around the world. All around the United States, I have family. So I guess that's one of the reasons why I volunteered for this show, because we want to talk about the family unit. And I think it's very important that we as parents make sure that our children have the right values, that they come up with the right values. And one of the first values I think is the most important is the spiritual values, that we realize there is a God out there and he's in control. He's in control of everything that happens in the world. And he is he's there to help us in any way we need help. And so that's the first value that I've tried to tell my children, and I'm very proud of them all because they're all very much involved with that, and they're very much involved with other people and helping other people. And so and that's another value that I think is very important. And Captain Lynn Kane, who does this radio show on Fridays, him and Ron Clayton, Lynn talks about the kindness campaign that he has going through the Golden Rule Society, which is another organization that we are connected with. And so anyway, I just think it's very important to talk about kindness, being kind to your family and being kind to other people, and to be to show the love that God has given us and to share that with everybody we meet. And so I think that's extremely important also. But anyway, I want to make sure that we all talk about that. And I know Gary, you had a lot of experiences with your parents that you took care of. You took care of for many years. And
I know it.
So I think if you talk a little bit about that, that would be good.
I know, because today when I went for my blood work, I was kind of getting some PTSD there for a moment, because when I went into the LabCorp, I was thinking back on all the days of bringing wheelchairs in there with them both and setting them up for the blood work and just, going over all the insurance forms and paperwork. And, I mean, you can't help it. It just automatically clicked in your head. And I was like, wow, to think how life changes. It's amazing. It really is amazing. And but again, you said you talk about the family, absolutely, because that's what the good Lord intended us to be here for each other. And that's a very important factor. We're in a crazy kind of society today where people tend to not think of the family unit anymore. I see that. I don't know if anybody else does, but I'm seeing that people are just kind of like spreading their wings and moving on, and they're just moving to a point to say, he's older, I got my life to live, and because I run into that and I hear that, and that's just wrong, because that's not how God intended it to be, And like for me, myself, look, hey, I did the best I could, Bob. You know that, right? And like now, it's just me and the cat. That's it. That's it, And somebody asked me today. She goes, Kerry, how many kids do you have? I says, none. She goes, how much family you got? I said, none. She goes, oh my God. I says, yeah. I says, but you get used to it. I says, if the good Lord intended it to be, it would have been. I mean, that's kind of where it's at, And but there's a lot of people in the world that need help out there.
Yeah, I know. I remember when Gary, when you used to bring your parents to church every week, and you brought them in on a wheelchair towards the end. Your mother, I don't know. I think you brought your father in first on the wheelchair, and then you got him positioned in the pew. And then you went out and got your mother and brought her into the church and brought her in the wheelchair and got them positioned. And I think they were both in their mid or late 90s at that time, right?
Almost near 100. Yeah, almost near. Dad was already 100.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because he passed away at 100. He passed away at 105. Wow. So Dad had to be 100 already. Wow. Mom was like in her 90s. At that point, but again, like I said, it's what we got to do.
And he was a World War II veteran, right? And he
was. He was a Normandy campaign veteran.
I know he had medals from 8 different countries on there that they honored him for what he had done to help their countries.
Yeah, he was well decorated. I know it. And, you know, him and I used to have these private conversations, and I would tell him, Dad, I mean, between Normandy, the Battle of the Bulge, Germany, I said, how did you do it? I mean, like, how did you do it? I mean, I used to say that all the time because it's he was a human history book. I'm being honest with you. And the stories he told me, I said, you know, you're even lucky you came back alive. I mean, it's the God's honest truth. He's lucky he came back alive. And but like he says, God spared me for a reason, Gary. And he had a lot of faith, you know. He had a lot of strong faith. Yeah. And I'm not saying because he was my father, but he was a good man. And I mean, that being said, you know, we need more people like that today. I'm being honest.
Oh, yeah.
I really do.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Yep. Oh, man.
But, you know, like I sit down and say to myself, because he was born in 1917, all right? And I say to myself, can you imagine what he saw through his eyes?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. I mean, Diane was with me, Larry, you know, with Dad until the end. Larry?
Yes, yep.
And, you know, we were sitting in the hospital, and my father was saying he wanted he wanted waffles. So Diane said to me, Gary, what did he say? I don't know. I think he wants waffles. So she yells at the nurse, and she says, give the guy the damn waffles, will you? He wants waffles. Oh, it was funny. I was like, oh, my God. But Diane was always there for me, and even for Mom. I mean, because, like, I got no family, but she hung with me to the end, you know?
Oh, yeah, she's a wonderful woman.
She really is.
Larry.
Yes.
This country again.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I love, in the country, we call stories testimonies. So, again, it's a very powerful testimony. But I just want you to work on that word you're using. Sticks and stones break your bones. In the beginning was the word. Words are very powerful things. So we're talking about, I guess he was lucky? No. Late last night while all of us was sleeping, God launched us 2 bodyguards. He called one of them Goodness, and he named the other one Mercy. And he said, I will allow them to follow you all the days of your life. Doesn't matter where you go. And see, when Oak Man start talking about he's got family over here and family over there and family over here, well, God told me to remind everybody, he says, I am that I am that I am. I am love. So when I come on, you heard Oak Man mention Lynn Kane. He calls it kindness across America. Kindness. Yeah, kindness. And then when you hear Ron Clayton, our president of the Hope Foundation, when you hear him talk about it, he'll be saying the same thing under the breath of love, but he calls it hope for you. Yeah, faith is the substance of things hoped for. But see, they told me that we're looking for all kinds of people that don't mind sharing love. So down here in the dirty South in Atlanta, Georgia, where I'm from, I just call it a blessing to be a blessing. I learned that from Shakespeare, and Shakespeare wrote it and gave it to Hamlet, and then I grew older and found out that love is not really love until one gives it away. And then we start looking at where everybody's located. Bob's got people over in Germany and over in here, and his wife is from over there. And then we start to look at Lynn Kane's way out on the West Coast, out in California. Ron Clayton's way up in New York. And Joel Griffin, who was my mentor for 20 years almost, and he never, before I finally met him. But he said, it's okay, country, if you call us super friends. Yeah, because we're taking the best of the best from the north, the south, the east, and the west. And we're allowing every single person to love their very, 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 is that enough, very, very best. Why? Because love is not one love until one gives it away. So what we're doing, if you want to experience some love today, then you start by going out and giving some love away. I was telling the kids to practice it. Now I'm telling the old people, practice it. Keep in mind, practice doesn't mean that you get perfect. Practice means you only get better and better and better, whatever it is that you do. Now, God says, I'm going to turn everything around. I'm going to take the last and make them first. I'm going to put rivers in the desert. So if you want to turn this thing around, start doing unto others before they do unto you. Because when you give love, hope, and kindness away, eventually it will come right back to you, even if it does not come from the person that you originally gave it to. Back to you, old man.
Amen. You know, one of the things that you're involved in, you're helping people in a lot of different ways, country, and I know that one of them that you're involved in is helping people to have water in the country, not only around the country but around the world. And if you maybe talk a little bit about that, how you're helping people with their water.
Well, old man, it's we could call it lucky if you wanted to. Matter of fact, my mentor, Dan Vargas, has won 18 national global awards. He's the only person in the world to ever do it. He's a designer. He's a marketeer. So we don't actually sell water. We're actually marketing water because even though I spent 12 years plus of my life in college, pretty smart, I know a lot about water. But I do know that I can give you a tank of hydrogen and a tank of oxygen, and can't nobody on the planet make not one drop of water, even though we know the formulation. God says can't touch that. But in the process of learning about water, I also learned that nothing in the world that lives can live without water. So I was blessed about 12 years ago and threw into a category, and I kind of hated the category, but they said don't murmur, don't complain. They told me that I'm the only, I like that word now, only minority, hate that word, manufacture water in the southeastern United States, which means that I still don't have to compete with the giants. No, I'm pretty sure I could, but I don't want to. Compete with the giants called Coca-Cola and Pepsi because they control the beverage industry. And as I start to look into the schools and the colleges and the universities, my wife worked for Coca-Cola for 42 years, and she used to tell me some of the things that they was doing, and actually she took some of my ideas. I'm not taking credit for Coca-Cola. They was born before I was born. But she took a lot of my marketing ideas back to Coca-Cola. So right now, I'm working on getting high schools, churches, schools, colleges, and non-for-profit organizations their own water. But the problem is that Coca-Cola and Pepsi's not going to take the label off their bottled water and put your label on there. That's where my niche, if y'all know what that word means, that's where my niche comes in. I'm able to custom design bottled water. Put your high school, your church, your college. And the thing about it is I've learned now after studying Coca-Cola and these other companies, they do at least share the money with you. They give you 40% of the money. Well, hold on for a minute. They use your facility, your school, your church. They use your clients, your family, yes, mom and dad and all of them that drink water, and they keep 60% of the money. Well, country says we're going to have to change this thing around. So when I work with companies and churches and non-for-profit organizations, they get a chance to keep all the money. Now, I ain't very smart nowadays. I'm getting a little touch of old-timers, too. But if somebody says, do you want 100% or do you want 40%? We want to go give it back to you guys so you can give it to somebody else. Y'all remember that old saying, it's a blessing to be a blessing? Well, if everybody could bless themselves, we wouldn't need each other. So right now, I'm starting an international movement with water. We're shipping water to Africa right now. We ship water. We just sent 5 truckloads of water down to Savannah because they water supply got. I just got back from Charlotte, North Carolina. My little panels up in Charlotte, North Carolina that used to be there are no longer there. I still wonder sometimes, well, country, there's more people in the world dying daily. Did y'all hear that? They're dying daily of thirst, and everybody that can die combined of the coronavirus. But then I started to understand I'm not a mighty Aquarian. I was born under the zodiac sign of being the water barrier, and still we sent people to the moon and to Mars and back and forth, but we can't figure out how to take the salt out of the ocean and make it pure enough to drink. But when the flood hit, they told you to take some of that water and put it in a pot and boil it on the top of the oven and you can drink it. So my point of being, we're called for a time such as now. They may not know who I am now because the federal government has monitored me and said you can't go on TV, you can't go here, you can't tell everybody that you're doing this. They try to keep it on the down low, but I'm used to doing that. They call me, before they call me country boy, they call me the spiritual ninja. It's not going to be no secret through the rest of the holidays because I already got my church and 3 or 4 non-for-profit organizations to say yes. I've already got my high school to say yes. I told you I went to 12 different colleges. I already got 2 of them to say yes. And then we're getting ready to team up with our partner, the Golden Rule Society. Lynn and I had a conversation the other week. He probably has been to every military base in the world. But I told you, y'all remember that camp up in North Carolina where they knowingly poisoned the soldiers with water? So now I told Lynn the name of my company, I first called it H2O, but I had to change that name. But we're getting ready to drop a water bomb on every military base in the nation, and we're going to allow them to put their name on the label. We're going to go to the airlines. Whether you realize it or not, Delta Airlines spent $40-something million last year on bottled water, and they don't even sell it to you. They just bill it into your ticket. So there's a water epidemic going on. There's 20-something states right now that can't even drink the water that comes from their state. So we're going to be able to work together in this thing because it's the one thing, Oakman, and I'll coast to a stop, that we have in common. Gary, Larry, people that I don't even know, because we're talking about super friends that are super friendly and super kind working together to help bless humankind. And when I come out this time, I'm not planning on discriminating. We're calling everybody out. We're talking about every man, every woman, every boy, and every girl coming together to help make for a better world, one nation, under love. One more reminder, again, love is not love until you give it away. So if you want to experience some love today, you start by going out and giving some love away. Do unto others before they do unto you, because when they give love away, eventually it will come back to you. Won't it, Oak Man?
Yeah, and it comes back to you in much greater rewards. And I agree with that 100%. Thank you, country, for covering that. And I would highly recommend to anybody to get with Country Boy, and to he can help you with setting that up, where you can furnish water to people, and through that marketing program. And I just I'm excited about it. He and I are going to get together on that some more. And Larry also, I think, is also going to get together with us on that program also. So I would highly recommend that to anybody. And we don't exclude anybody, by the way. Everybody and anybody is welcome. I think Country says it that you can be from Yale or rather from Harvard or Yale, or just get out of jail, and you're still welcome. That's what our program does. We offer it to anybody and everybody, and I'm very, very proud to be part of that. I thank the good Lord for putting me in this position where I can help people and help more people and help more people and help them to help people, and that's what our motto is. helping people and helping them to help other people, and that's what we do. We all do it. Sometimes we do it in a little bit different ways, but we all do it. And the whole team on the Hope Collection, individually, we can accomplish so much, but as a team, we can accomplish so much more. And that's why we do it as a team. Ron Clayton that Country Boys mentioned, and Rick Reese is another one in the travel business, and Captain Lynn Kane and Country Boy, and so many others are all involved in helping others and helping them to help others. So I would highly recommend that you do that. I want to just make a little comment about the show tomorrow. We have the show 5 days a week. This radio show tomorrow. Captain Lynn Kane and he was the founder of the Golden Rule Society for over 50 years, and my friend Ron Clayton, who is the head of the board of the Hope Collection. And so they're both doing the show. They do it on Friday afternoons, 12 o'clock Eastern Time. And so I would highly recommend that to anybody that's listening on the internet. Come on the show, and if you don't want to talk, just listen. And you might hear some things. I know you will hear some things that will help you, in any area of your life that you need help in. And so I highly recommend that. And the number to get on the show is 714-816-4686. That's 714-816-4686. And that's that we have shows 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, from 12 noon to 1 o'clock Eastern Time. We use that same telephone number to get in. And if you dial in, the host of the show that day will see your number come up, and they will turn on your microphone and ask you to introduce yourself. So it's a very simple process. And then you can register into the Hope Collection if you want to through a site called OptimizeMyLife.com, and it's OptimizeMyLife.com, all one word. And you can register into the Hope Collection for free. Do you hear that? Free, Free. So you don't have to pay any fees or anything like that. And there's all kinds of information available to anybody that wants to go in and look at it. There's links all along the left-hand side of the screen that you can click on and check. You can click on the link from the Hope Collection to get into the Golden Rule Society. You can click on the link to get into other organizations. So, as I said, there's all kinds of different things available to people through the Hope Collection and through the Golden Rule Society. So I would highly recommend that you go in and listen. Go in and talk with the hosts. And they'll be happy to talk with you. There's no obligation for anybody. If you come on, you just can come on and listen. And maybe you'll hear something you would be interested in. So anyway, it's something maybe that we can help you with. Most of us are certified as life coaches, and we have the skills and the ability to do that, to work with people and to help them to decide what it is that they're really interested in, what are their needs, and how can we help them. And then we have the tools and the skills and the whole team to work with you. So anyway, I just thought I'd mention that before the show is over, because I think that's important to know that. You can get on the Golden Rule Society by signing into Golden Rule Society. That's all one word, goldenrulesociety.org. And you can go directly into that one if you want to. Or you can get into the Hope Collection by entering The Hope Collection, all one word, thehopecollection.com. They're both 501c3s, which means that they're certified by the federal government to be a nonprofit organization. And that allows us to bring other businesses in that will help people also. So I highly recommend that. Anything else? Somebody else wants to add before we sign off?
Oh man, I will say one quick word about Mary.
Okay, go ahead.
I say quick word because just as we're talking about our other sutra friends, keep in mind, you guys, the divine creator, that's what I call him, the creator of the universe and everything that lives therein, designed us all in his own image. Ron loves it when I say, ain't nobody can do what you do, like you do, when you do what you do. And we feel honored as well as privileged to be able to do anything with you. When Ron, I stole his word. I told him I never stole anything that wasn't worth stealing because I'm paying it forward. Ron will let you know right up front that we have no hidden agendas. We have no hidden motives on what we do. We have every intention on blessing you, and your family. They have a cliche. I hate them, but I'm going to use one real fast. Oh, man, it's not what you know. It's who you know. I tell you, we surrounded ourselves. Joel called it a cycle of appreciation. We appreciate each other. We high-five each other. We pat each other on the back. We say, I hope that you're okay. We just pray. And Mary Stanley, we was at a kind of a stagnant place because we've been doing this radio show for well over 10, 12 years now. But at that time, we was broadcasting to a handful of people until Mary came along and connected us to the world. 90-plus countries and 66 languages. And I don't speak Chinese, but we got people that's tuning in from Russia and China and the Philippines. So right now, when it comes down to it, we have no hidden agendas. We have no hidden motives on what we do. We have every intention on blessing you in the areas that you need. Why? Because we care. We care enough to share enough information with you so that you'll know what you need to know in order to be able to grow. Forgive them, Father, because they know not. We can't use ignorance as an excuse. Bob Marley says we use ignorance as an excuse. We're prisoners locked up in our own minds, using ignorance as a escape to keep us blind. But if you look at the word ignorx, the first root part of the word is ignore, so that we know better, and now we can do better. We want to empower you on every area of your life that you need. We have 8 major pillars, so there's nothing that you could possibly need that we don't already have. But again, God gave it to us not to keep for ourselves, but to pay it forward. I told you do unto others before they do unto you. So that's exactly what we want to do. So we are calling you out. One more time, we're talking to everybody, every man, every woman, every boy, and every girl coming together, one nation under love, to help make for a better world. Back to you, Oak Man.
Thank you, Country. Larry, you got anything you want to add?
Not really. I tell you, you guys really did a lot today, and a lot of good too.
Yep.
I'd like to thank you.
Gary, you have anything you want to add?
Not really. Larry, when do you guys meet down in Glen Gardner?
We go on Tuesday mornings.
Every Tuesday or certain Tuesdays?
Yeah, every Tuesday. Hold on a second. Yeah, every Tuesday, yep.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yes, you got to stop in.
What time on Tuesday?
Yeah, that's a great. You'll have a good time at that meeting. It's a great meeting.
Yeah, I would say probably any time from like 8:30, 9 o'clock is a good time to get down there.
Okay, yeah. I just got to come Asbury Anderson Road. I'm right there.
Okay, all right. Well, hopefully I'll see you there.
Well, I'll send a note to Diane. I'll tell her coming down. Do I need to be a member?
No. Nope.
Okay.
Just as long as you have, your military ID, you can come right on in.
Yeah, I've got my ID. Yeah.
You got it then. You're allowed in.
Okay. All right. Good. Well, Diane should know that. Trust me.
And sometimes they let people that don't have a military ID like me come in.
No,
I came in with Larry a couple of times.
So I didn't know Diane was making the breakfast. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Bob,
I'll see you there.
All right, guys.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, guys. I think we're gonna close down the show now. I appreciate you all so much. Country, thank you for coming on and sharing with us. And Larry, thank you for coming on and sharing with us. And the same with you, Gary. Thank you for coming on and sharing with all of us.
You're very welcome.
When we have a number of people that have different skills and different things that they're working on in their lives that they've been involved in, it makes for a much more interesting show. And that's why I thank you guys for all coming on, because you're all involved in people's lives, and you're all involved in helping people and helping them to help other people. Like Country said, pay it forward. We use the pay it forward philosophy. There was a movie years ago that was a great movie. Helen Hunt was in it, I think, and Kevin Spacey, and it was a great movie about paying it forward. And so we use that philosophy with people to help them without any expectation that we're going to get something out of it. It's all about you. The focus is on you and you and you and you, not on us. It's on you. So that's the way we operate, because that's what the good Lord wants us to do.
That's correct.
If we can help enough people get what they want, then what God has for us, He has for us. It truly is a blessing to be a blessing.
Amen. Yep. Thank you all again, and we're about out of time, so you all have a great day, and God bless you. And Gary, I'll see you later on when we talk to Rick Reese.
All right. Am I going to meet you at Duncan?
I'm sorry, Gary. Go ahead.
Am I going to meet you at 1:30?
Okay. Yeah. I'll meet you at 1:30. Okay.
Okay.
All right, guys. Have a great day, and God bless you and your families.
It was a pleasure, Larry. Country boy.
God bless everybody.
Thank you.